quick story. So last time we talked about taking advantage of the opportunity, and we called it taking your shots, right? Are you taking the shots that come your way? Are you taking advantage of that, right? And to pat myself on the back, I'm going to tell you this story. I did such a good job, I lost the listing, right? And you're like, what do you mean, right? So I had somebody here, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me sharing the story. So I had somebody here, and I was about a week and a half away from putting her house on the market, and we were talking about taking the opportunity. If the shot comes your way, don't pass it up. Take it, right? And the situation was such that, she was living with her, children in her house, single mom, and he's a single dad, and they're dating, right? And we were going to put her house on the market. Well, when they were leaving here, like, Rob, you impacted us more than you know. And that always feels good to hear, right? So the next morning, I get a text. Rob, I just got to tell you, we were so impressed with your presentation last time. We appreciate, the inspiration you gave us, and you did such a good job. We decided to take our shot. We're going to move in together. We're not going to sell my house. And I'm like, so I took myself right out of a listing, right? Good job, Rob. So I'm hoping if somebody's looking to work with me right now, I'm not trying to talk you out of doing business, okay? So it's good. So we talked about a little bit about confidence last time, right? And what is it? How do you get confidence? And I talked about just doing something, right? So tonight I want to talk about the big MO, right? What's that mean? Somebody say it again? That's not what I'm talking about. Momentum, the big Mo. So I didn't mean to call you out, Joe, but I knew somebody would say that. But the momentum, we all want momentum, right? And to tell you another story, I've been trying to write a book for the last 10 years, right? 10 years, right? I could write one page a day and finally get that completed, right? And it just hasn't happened because I haven't committed to it, right? So about 10 years ago, 8 years ago, I wrote a chapter. I'm on my way to writing a book, right? Put it down, stop. Then about 3 or 4 years ago, I got a little bit of a run. I wrote 3 chapters. Put it down, stop. And I didn't pick up anything, right? So I got these mastermind buddies of mine, Mark Brudzinski's in the group, and we've been getting together for 5 years. We're in our 6th year right now, as a matter of fact. And they've heard this goal over and over and over again. Every year we pick a major 2 or 3 goals we want to accomplish. And one of my goals is to write a book, right? So they've been hearing the same goal for 3, 4, 5 years, right? So at the end of every year, we do a little retreat where we get together. We were up at my Deep Creek place, and we got together. So we're doing this thing where we go over your victories, your wins, your losses, maybe some aha moments, something you can do to fix things in your life. And we go over them in sections. So we did the wins, we did some aha moments and whatnot, and now it's time to go through our losses, right? So it's big boy time. Step up, tell them what you didn't do, and get called out if you have to, right? So I go first. And of course, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking my guys are going to pat me on the back and say, that's okay, Rob, you're going to go get it. You're still going to get this done, right? So I said, well, as you know, I didn't get to the book yet. And before I could even get the last word out of my mouth, my buddy Pete says, Rob, you're either lying to us or you're full of crap. And I looked at him and I'm like, I was ready to jump across the table, right? I'm like, you just called me a liar, right? And then the next guy sitting over there, and he goes, well, I kind of agree with Pete. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm getting bamboozled here, man. They're attacking me, right? And I get to this guy over here. He goes, well, I'm not going to be as harsh, but I agree. They're right. You've been saying this for 4 years now, and you haven't done it. It's time to, get off the pot. And so we committed. I made a commitment to them. Because the problem I was having was finding the right time to start writing. And I get home at night and try to sit down and write. I'm exhausted. I can't get my head together. Not going to work. Try to get up early in the morning, get distracted. Wasn't working, right? So I was running one day with my wife, and she goes, you need to pick a time to do this, and you need to be consistent with it. So I made a commitment to the guys that, hey, every morning, Monday through Friday, I'm getting up, and from 5 to 5:45, I'm going to write. I'm just going to do it. And the goal is to get all the writing done by June 30th, right? So here we are. It's May 2nd, right? Today's May 2nd, right? Okay, countdown time. I'm 60 days away, basically. 60 days away from having not the book finished, but all the written material finished. Then we got to go to publishing and editing, and ultimately, copy. And so I'm anxious, I'm apprehensive, and I'm excited. But I needed some momentum. And what happened was I started writing. January 1st, the whole New Year's resolution thing. Started writing, and then I'm feeling good about it. Get up the next morning, I couldn't wait to get up. Start writing a little more. then writing a little more. Next thing you know, it's like I couldn't wait to get up the next morning to start writing. I had a little momentum going on my side. So now here we are. It took me, 6 years to write 4 chapters. In the last 5 months, I've written 5 or 6 chapters, and we're almost there. We're almost there, and it's going to be pretty cool. And the thing about the book is, it's not so much a book that I wanted to jump up and say I'm on the stage. This is a New York bestseller book. It was real. That's when I initially thought of the idea. That's kind of where my mind was, because I want to speak, I want to write, I want to get out there and say, hey, look at me. That's what the first thought was. But then I changed my mindset on that. It's not all about that. It's not all about, hey, look at me. It's what I can do for others. And how can I do for others? Just tell my story. Just tell my story. I wrote for an audience of 1. So anybody here journal? Anybody here journal at all? And guys, don't be afraid to put your arm up if you journal. It's not a sissy thing anymore. I've been journaling for about 10 years now, And I was the guy that used to think, that's a diary? A guy in a diary? I would never do that. But I journal pretty consistently now, And Joe Ehrman, if you know that guy he played for the Colts in the 70s, I was talking to him about writing a book one day, and he goes, Rob, have it come from your journal. Have it come from your heart, have it come from your journal, and just tell your story. And write for an audience of 1 to share with others. So I got all this momentum going now. So when we think about momentum, the first place my mind goes is sports, okay? We see it more often than not in college basketball. Any college basketball fans here? Any fans here? Anybody watch college basketball? So what happens usually, you get the game going, and somewhere along the line, some teams just start scoring 5, 10, 15 straight points, right? And then they're running away with it, right? So they got all this momentum going. And all of a sudden, if it's early in the game, at some point that momentum's going to shift, right? And so what happened? It does shift. Like what happened to the Washington Wizards the other night, if you know. They started the game against the Celtics in the playoffs on a 16-0 run. They had all the momentum going their way, and for some reason, they lost that momentum, and they lost the game, right? Most notable occurrence just happened in January, was it February, the Super Bowl. Atlanta gets out to a 21-0 lead. It's 21-3, right? What's that? I know we all hate the Patriots, right? Right? Any Patriots fans here? Don't put your hand up if you are. Right? Somebody dump a beer on you. So they got the 21-0 lead, right? And I'm saying to myself, they got to keep this momentum going. The worst thing that could happen to them, they come out at the second half when they're getting the ball first, and they go 3 and out. And sure enough, they went 3 and out. But that didn't break the momentum yet, because New England went 3 and out, right? Then Atlanta came back and scored. But as a high-powered offense as they were, that was the last points they were going to score the rest of the game. And then New England turns around and scores, and they get the ball and they score again. And you could feel the energy shift. You could feel it shift, right? And so New England gets the ball in the last quarter with a few minutes left, and everybody knew, they were in denial that they were going to score. And we were just hoping they wouldn't, because they had all the momentum on their side. And then finally, what happens? They score, they tie the game, they get the ball first in overtime, and what happens? There was no doubt about it, they were going to score because they had all the momentum going their way. So momentum can work for you or it can work against you. Do we understand what I mean by that? Okay, it can work for you or against you. 2 years ago, December 2014, Mark, I don't know if I should share this with you because it's a health thing. He does health insurance, right? Or you guys do it too, right? I'm like, this could be bad news for me. Anyway, so I had my blood drawn, and my triglycerides, close your ears, they were at 517. 517. Anybody knows about that? That's astronomically high, right? Right? And I'm like, I must have just had a bad meal, the night before, because I'm like, I'm not a 517 guy, right? And so I'm working out a little bit here and there. I'm like, how could that be? But it scared the living daylights out of me. And I'm like, I'm a heart attack waiting to happen, right? And so I had gone to a weight of about 204 pounds, right? And that's heavy for me. I'm 5'8". It's just 204 is a little too heavy for me. And I had surgery that year. I just wasn't feeling great, wasn't working out as much. But I'm like, I saw that 517 number. Something's got to change. Something has to change. So I made my New Year's resolution then that I was going to stop eating bread during the week, and I was going to stop eating sweets. Because I love Oreos. Anybody love Oreos? I'm an Oreo guy, right? I can eat a whole bag. They say like the Lay's potato chips, you just can't have one. I can't have one Oreo. So I said, this is what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to stop eating bread during the week, stop eating sweets, and I'm going to get on the elliptical 20 minutes a morning, right? So what happens, I'm trying to create momentum, right? The first week and a half, I'm not seeing anything, and that's when people usually quit, because they're going at it a week or two, and they're not seeing the results yet, right? So do you just give up because I'm like, I'm not seeing it. It's not happening. Why should I keep doing it? But then week 3, all of a sudden I lost 2 pounds, right? I'm like, wow, this is working. So what happens when you get a little momentum on your side? You get a little confidence on your side, right? They go hand in hand, momentum and confidence, right? So then week 4, I lost another couple pounds, right? So here it was, January the 1st, I was 204. May 19th, and I remember the day, May 19th, my goal was to hit 187. May 19th, I got up that morning and I weighed 187. So I lost 17 pounds in a matter of 5 months, right? When I got that momentum, I got that confidence. When I got the confidence, I wanted to keep doing it, right? So we need something to break. We need the dam to break so we see that momentum going our way and we get that confidence, get it going. So where can a momentum affect you, not just in your personal life, but where it can affect you in your business? We're all here, we're all business people, right? Right? What's the most important thing we do in our business every day? Lead generate. We got to generate for leads. We got to go get business, right? And what happens, I'm going to give you the real estate side of it. You know, you get in the real estate business, and Bobby Ramaka just got his license last week. He just joined our team. So he's going to learn something tonight. Don't forget this. And Kelly's been here. Dina just got her. Oh, by the way, Dina, she's been my assistant for 2.5 years. She just got a real estate license this week. Give her a hand. Give her a hand. Yeah. Now, you like how Kelly deflected that, but Kelly got her license about 6 months ago, and she's been working on our team too. So congratulations to you, but you've been here a few times. Anyway, so what does a typical realtor do, right? We got to generate for business, okay? We get there and we're hitting the phones. So I write notes, as everybody knows. I'm sure almost everybody here has gotten a note from me at some point, right? If you haven't gotten a note, put your hand up. If you have not gotten a note, well, you're going to get one. If you haven't gotten a note, put your hand up, right? Everybody's gotten a note from me. Has everybody gotten a call from me over time, right? So I write notes, I make phone calls, and I'll stop by your work or your place of business or your home, and I'll drop something off just to pop by and say hi, right? These are the things I do every day to lead generate, right? So I'm calling, I'm writing notes, and I'm stopping by, and I want to get this business. So in the real estate world, right, you just get in the business or you're trying to generate leads, you're here and you start working your way up. You're making calls, you're writing notes, you're doing these Popeyes, right? And all of a sudden you get 3-4 deals in the hopper. You had a little success. What do? You stop doing the lead generating that got you there. So you got all this momentum built up and you're like, I got to do customer service. I got to take care of my clients. How am I going to have time to lead generate, right? So we break the momentum here and we stop doing the business. We stop doing the lead generating. So what happens? We go downhill here with our lead generating, with our pipeline. We got no irons in the fire, right? So what happens? We got to get back on the horn, right? We got to build that momentum back up. And what do? We make our calls, we write our notes, we do our Popeyes. So this is the real estate business. That's what it looks like, you know? What we have to do is find some consistency there, right? Stay consistent with the model. So I don't go write 20 notes a day and make 400 calls a day. You know, I stay consistent. I write typically 10 notes a day. I make about 13, 14 phone calls a day, and I stop by about 5 to 10 people's places of work or homes a week. I stay consistent, so I never have to worry about this up and down stuff, because that'll drive you nuts. Anybody else experience that except realtors? Anybody else experience that except realtors? Okay, so how do you stop it? You stay consistent, right? You stay consistent. Don't break. This is where momentum works against you. As soon as you stop making these calls, writing these notes, you start going downhill, and you say, oh, I'll write 10 tomorrow since I was supposed to write 5 today and I didn't. I'll write 15 on Wednesday. I gave myself 2 days off. As soon as you break that momentum, it's going to work against you. And it goes for working out. So you're working out 5 days in a row, and you've got this program going on, and you wake up one morning and you say, I just don't feel like working out today. I'll make it up tomorrow. And then day 2 goes, man, I'm sore, I'm tired, you know. I'll do it next day. And you get up and you say, I don't need to do it. I worked hard 5 days this week. We got to be careful on how we break that momentum, okay? So we talked about business, we talked a little bit about personal stuff. So there's other things you look for momentum, right? I told you I've been trying to write this book for 10 years, right? In the last 2 months, 4 topics I've written on are acceptance, gratitude, momentum, and abundance. So what happens is when I'm thinking about these topics and I'm writing every day, right? I start seeing it out there. So let's just take gratitude, for instance. I'm writing about gratitude for maybe 8 to 10, 12 days. I'm writing about gratitude. And what I do is I'm out there and I start seeing more things that I need to be grateful for, right? And I see it today and I go, I got to write more about that tomorrow. And I write tomorrow and I see it again the next day. So all of a sudden I get excited. Momentum builds excitement. It builds that confidence, you know. So next thing you know, I can fly through a chapter because I'm thinking about it all the time. I have that momentum on my side. Abundance. There's abundance everywhere. It's everywhere in our lives. I'm writing a chapter on abundance, and next thing you know, everything I look at, I'm like, man, we got abundance everywhere. Might sound corny. I'm driving down the road, and I look at a field, I'm like, got a gazillion blades of grass. How abundant is that, right? There's abundance everywhere in our lives. There's gratitude. We can create momentum in all these areas of our lives, you know, because if the more gratitude we have, the more momentum you're going to get on your side. It starts with gratitude, and then you see all the abundance out there, and it's amazing the journey that we're on. And look, I'm on my journey. Forget this here. If there's a journey here, I feel like I'm right here, and I'm 49 years old. I'm excited to get here. I can't wait to get here, but I got to keep doing what I'm doing. I got to keep learning what I'm learning. So my thought or my encouragement to you is look for the momentum in your life. Look to create that momentum in your life. If you're stuck in a place, just start. Zig Ziglar said it best. He said, "You don't have to be great to be great to start. You just got to start to be great, right? You just got to start. You just got to start." There's a book called The Kaizen Way, right? And it's a story about this. They tell a story about this lady. And Kaizen means just taking one step, one little thing at a time, right? And there's a story about this lady. She didn't want to work out. She was out of shape. She had health problems. And to get her started, all they asked her to do was the first week of her program was to stand on the treadmill. She just stood on the treadmill every day for a week for 5 minutes. Then the next week, stand on the treadmill and then walk for 2 minutes. And then she started feeling better, seeing results, and then she started jogging, and then she started running because she got momentum on her side. It just takes one small step. One small step, and you can create a massive amount of momentum in your life, which is going to build a massive amount of confidence, which is going to lead you to greater heights in your life. So look for it. Look for it. If you're stuck, create it. If you're there, don't take the foot off the gas. That's the worst thing you do. You got momentum on your side, press harder because it gives you an opportunity to blow through the wall. Okay? You guys good? You guys good? Thank you for coming out here tonight. I appreciate you being here. I didn't make anybody cry. That wasn't my tent, Jen. You know. Okay? There you go. Maybe next time I'll think of a heartwarming story to choke people up. But so, guys, we got cannolis here, and I passed around sign-in sheets because I think what happened last time, we had everybody fill in a sign-in sheet, and I'm going to send it out so everybody knows who's here because we got too many people here for everybody to take 2 minutes and stand up and tell what you do. So keep networking. I'm never too busy for your referrals. I made a commitment today that I'm taking this class that I was going to talk to 100 people today. Okay? So I made 75 phone calls before I got here today. And it's about 40 of you here. I hit my goal. 115 of you, you know. So, again, keep networking. If somebody wants to meet somebody, please see me. My job here is to connect you guys together so there's a power source between you or power team between you. And I just love having you back, man. We got a lot of momentum in this thing here, right? We had a lot of people last time. We got a lot of people this time. Let's keep that energy flowing, right? And if you know somebody else, bring them along. Thanks so much, guys.